Okay, good morning. It's the 28th of October 2023. It's quite early in the morning, it's about 8 o'clock in the morning, so it's the forest is still waking up. Bit damp here, but typical autumnal conditions. The leaves are dropping down, you hear droplets hitting the floor in the background. Very quiet. I've seen I don't know, one, two, three of them at the beginning when I parked the car, and there's one here, and there's very slight indication of one here, not particularly clear. And I thought I'll come back to this mega ground stick, which is still here. You know, the video I did last year, so something how permanent some of these can be. They've pushed it that far in the ground that it stayed here for over a year now, and but it just goes to show that you need to keep your eyes open for other signs, because there is that big one there, and there's a copy of my book there. I've just got to take a picture from a book in front of a ground stick, so that's why it's there. But you can see here, look at this, there's another ground stick that's been put there since I did the last video. So look, it's pointing roughly pretty much exactly in the same direction. And what's over there? Oh, well, that's where I parked the car. Whether that has anything to do with it, I do not know. But yeah, there's a forest path out there as well. Okay, so that's the introduction. Now on to something a bit more serious. I cannot underline this well enough. This is a major warning to fellow researchers and those that have a passing interest and don't understand what they could be getting themselves into. All right, I underline the fact that you're dealing with something that you do not understand. I've been dealing with it for the last 10 years, and I'm still having to come to terms with how far out this really is. But I've achieved this through having a mutual respect for these forest people, and they are very intelligent and very sophisticated, more so than us. They're way more advanced than us. So what's the warning? Please, if you're going out researching, show your respect for them. All right. Respect is a two-way thing. If you show your respect to them, they will cordially respond to that, I'm sure. If you show disrespect, don't be surprised if you've opened Pandora's box to something that you don't want. All right. Why do I say this? Well, I've not had any bad experiences dealing with the forest people. They are my friends now. There's been a couple of instances that I can say where they've shown their displeasure with me. That's when they fried my car's alternator. They threw a, well, I wouldn't class that as being antagonistic in any way, but you know, they threw a stick that landed in front of me. That was just confirmation for me. It was just like a confirmation. But the other instance where we know we did something wrong, and we had when we walked back to the car, we got a very loud wood knock right behind us, just 30 feet behind us. The most intense wood knock I've ever heard, and boy, in the dark forest, that sends shivers down your spine. It takes you completely out of your comfort zone, and we acknowledge that. We acknowledge what we did wrong, and they let us know beforehand, but when we were coming out of the forest, that we felt like we didn't want to be there. There was the first time in ever, really, apart from the Goldilocks zone, where you felt there was a sense that they didn't want you there. So heed that. If you get things like bluff charges, loud wood knocks right next to you, or you get vocalizations in the context of saying get out, or they're not happy with you, heed those warnings. Show your respect and back off. All right. I've been dealing with some chap from the north who has let us say that he went out with the idea of capturing video footage and dealing with a clan that was nearby him, and he didn't show any form of respect, and he did all sorts of trickery and even aggressive behaviour towards them, and it backfired. The clan decided that he needed to be taught a lesson, and he had a 2-year lesson, which was an absolute nightmare for him. It's still not over yet, but it's pretty much at its conclusion now, because I've helped get involved over the last 2-3 months, and I think we've gone a long way in those 3 months, and I think we're seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. But the sort of things that he had to deal with, they were visiting him at house at night. They were setting off electrics. They were bombarding him with infrasound or other forms of negative energy. It was to the point that it became too much for him. So he moved house, thinking he could escape it, and it followed him. And he could hear them chanting, making vocalizations outside his property, and just setting off electrics in the house, and giving him that uncomfortable feeling. You know, when that feeling like we had when we were not welcome. It was like that, but in particular places in this house. Well, he moved, and he was putting all sorts of things around the house, like, you know, foil at the windows and stuff like that, to try and keep any energy frequencies coming his way to be reduced. It got him really badly, you know, to the point that he was in a very dark place. Put it that, a very, very, very dark place, and there was no let up. I got involved, and we tried to break the ice and send an apology to the local clan, and it got worse. It got worse for a short time. But we've been able to establish the reasons why they were very, very disappointed with him, which I won't go into detail here, but certainly there might be a silver lining to this dark cloud, but at the moment we're still coming out the other side. But it's taken a few months to reach that point, and he will vouch for it. He's prepared to give his name and go on recording to actually confirm all of this. But he acknowledges that he did wrong. He showed a lack of respect, and when he should have been backing off, he pushed on with the trickery, with the trying to interfere with the status quo in that particular area of the forest. He acknowledges he did wrong, and he was of the belief that these beings are absolute demons, you know, very, very negative connotations as to who they are, which I think we're now twisting it around in a different direction. But at the time, you know, he's had 2 years of this, 2 years of bombardment with negative energies, and they were following him around all day long, even when he was at work, getting the infrasound and the likes. You know, he was on depressants and the like. So it hit him hard. It hit him hard. So this is my warning to you: if you are going to go down this route, show some respect, because you will get hit hard. You know how it works. If you're playing with fire, expect the fact that you can get burnt. Okay. He got burnt for 2 years. Do you think you can live through 2 years of hell, of having constant negative energy being thrown at you? No. So my recommendation is, don't do it. And if you're not prepared to show the respect for dealing with these forest friends, then, you know, you're going to open up Pandora's box to a something that you don't want. So take my advice now. The chap has asked me to get this message out there, because there's a lot of ignorant people out there who are going out with the wrong mentality of dealing with these amazing, truly amazing forest people. And you'll see that from my book. Bigfoot is a Fairy Tale. Have you had a chance to read it? Has your mind been blown away? I know it's a difficult one for people to digest. It hit me hard as well, but I've had the opportunity to have 10 years of dealing with these forest people, so it came as no great surprise. But if you've never seen an orb in the forest, you know, a white ball of light, or like a shooting star, basically shooting through the forest, then you maybe it was a bit more difficult putting 2 and 2 together here. But yeah, it confirms a lot of things, and let's face it, Shakespeare and Bigfoot. I would never dreamt of being able to do that. So I think there's some forest walkers here, so I'm going to stop the video now. But yeah, what an amazing journey I've had for the last 10 years, and it's come to this point of writing a book about it, which is an honest an account of everything that's been going on. And what you need to know now is that I'm now writing a book 2. Hello. Hello. So yeah, I'm writing a book 2 now. So and is it going to have just as much mind blowers in that? Yeah, it is. It is. As far as I'm concerned, I've been blown away yet again, and it's some of it now starts to make sense. It links up a few things from our history that's been questionable, but now it sort of makes sense. So yeah, book 2 is underway. I don't know when I'm going to get around to publishing it, but we'll see. Maybe it's a bit too early to do it next year, but we will see. We will see. I really am blown away yet again. So there will be a part 2 to this. Bigfoot is a fairy tale, and the title has a meaning there. Bigfoot, it's a fairy tale. Not a fairy tale in the sense that it's a made up story. Fairy as in a fairy tale. It's a tale that incorporates fairies. Now, I never thought I'd be able to link fairies with Bigfoot, but it's not my interpretation. It's what the interpretation was years ago. All right, so we're trying to put our understanding as to what they were thinking about in the past when they saw the orbs and things like that. They called them the fairy folk. That's what the orbs relate to. So it's not a fairy tale. It's a tale that links in with the whole idea of fairies from the Middle Ages. Incredible, isn't it? It starts to make sense to some of the stuff that we've been aware of, we've grown up with as being purely imaginary, but now we can start to put it in a box and say, well, that's what our ancestors were trying to understand, and how their interpretation was of the things that they witnessed in the forest. And let's face it, they spent a lot more time out in the forest than we ever do. So they visualized, saw a lot of this stuff more often than we do, because it's not very often that people go out in the forest at night time. Whereas in the past, people slept in the forest. They gathered food from the forest. They collected firewood because we didn't have central heating and the like. So yeah, they spent a lot more time in the forest. So they saw these things in the forest, and that is their interpretation. And likewise with Shakespeare, his interpretation of what we're talking about, Bigfoot, develops into a storyline, and you can now see where it stems from. So he was a genius, but now we can see there's a little bit more understanding to who some of the characters are. So yeah, Oberon, King of the Fairies. There you go, bit of a giveaway there. But yeah, if you haven't got the book, have a good read, follow my journey, understand that you're going to get blown away, because everyone I've spoken to they're having problems getting their head around it and accepting it, because everything they've known since childhood has just been turned upside down. So yeah, but book two is going to do something very similar. So I'm looking forward to that. I really am fired up about this one. But yeah, so the purpose of this video is please show your respect to the forest people when you're going out researching. Dump the trickery, dump the gadgets, the electric devices. Just go into a forest, do what I started to do, bow my head to the forest, get your eye in where there's locations, where there's things like this ground stick. Go and sit there, just contemplate, send out telepathic messages to them, get your eye in, like the magic eye books. Is everything you see in front of you what you see? No, it's not. There's a lot of things that can be hidden from us. Likewise, so I said that there was a forest person standing there, you'll say, well, you're absolutely bonkers. But now we're understanding, and I'm pleased to say some of the Bigfoot forums that I've been in for years, where I've said, you know, when they say, well, who do you think Bigfoot is? It's a interdimensional being of energy. The number of times it got slated, and now when you go into the Bigfoot forums, there's a lot more discussion. It's a lot more open about the high probability of the fact that they're not being seen in the UK, particularly when they're readily there, is down to the interdimensional or vibrational energy form that they can take and come and go. And I've just given a bit of proof there, but it wasn't there. But you know, I've got no way of actually proving it to you, the audience, but I've proved it to myself, because I can actually visually see them. And so, like the magic eye books, get your eye in, start looking for a distortion. All right, a distortion, a vibrational distortion, like a, you know, like Predator. All right, like that, but far better than that. Far better than the Predator, because Predator, you could see the distortion very easily. Here it's a lot more subtle. So keep your eyes open for that. But sit down, have a cup of coffee in an area where it's quiet, and there's ground features from them, and just let them come to you. Send out telepathic messages. Get your confirmation that way, rather than having a 2-year nightmare of going down the wrong path, trying to push them with technology and trickery. Doesn't work. So yeah, so on that note, I'm going to leave it there for now. But yeah, sorry I've not been doing any videos. I'd love to do them. I'd love to come out to the forest and do them, but as you know, I've been on my own personal journey, which you can tell by the book, but it doesn't mean to say I've not turned my back on the research side of things, because yeah, I'm working on book 2 now. I don't know how successful book 1 has been. Still waiting for my first 6 monthly figures, but so far it's only the verbal reports I've had that people have just been blown away. Just it's a tough nut to crack for them, and I get that. It was for me, but I think over time the picture, the environment of the Bigfoot community is changing, and it's changing now to a better understanding that the woosayers have, they're not the crackpots. They've been onto something for quite a while, and it's now time to come on board and understand that. But for those people that are still pushing for their scientific confirmation through trickery, it's going to backfire, or potentially it will backfire. They're smarter than that. If you want your own personal confirmation, then follow what I've said in the book, and I'm sure you'll find it rewarding, because they can be at home with you, bonkers as it might seem, but that is the truth. So, okay, right, it's 25 minutes on the clock here, so I'll leave it at that. But yeah, thanks and have a good day. But heed my warning.